Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colleges That Change Lives virtual college fair. We're so excited to spend a little bit of time here with you this evening. We have 4 wonderful institutions who will each be chatting with you over the course of the next 45 minutes about each of their institutions. Before we kick things off, I do want to make sure that everyone understands the format and that you're aware of how to ask our representatives questions in this session. So each institution has 9 minutes. We won't have a lot of time for that general Q&A at the end of the session, so I do encourage you to take advantage of that Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen throughout the session, even as institutions are presenting. Your camera and microphone are off, and they'll remain off throughout the full session, so really that Q&A is your best way to communicate with the college representatives. A reminder that there is an additional hour of programming after this session, as well as some sessions tomorrow that you're welcome to check out and sign up for. And that this session is being recorded and that the recording will be available at strivescan.com/CTCL within the next week if you need to return to any of this information. So before we go ahead and get started with our first institution, we do have a quick message from the Colleges That Change Lives organization. And so if you give me just a moment, we'll go ahead and start things off with that.
Good evening. My name is Christine Bowman. I am the proud chair of the Colleges That Change Lives Board of Directors. We thank you for joining us today for our virtual college fair, and we hope that this introductory session will help you learn more about our organization and why we believe the liberal arts is a great way to grow, learn, and thrive. Our organization is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit that believes in helping students focus in a student-centered college search, and that in doing so, they will find the right fit. We also believe that our institutions provide a great value in lifelong learning and the love of continuous learning. And we hope that as you learn more about us, you will see this as a positive quality in considering liberal arts colleges like ours. To complement this philosophy, we also, as an organization, push back on the media frenzy about college admission and hope to de-stress the process for students and families. We want you to see beyond rankings as the way to find your perfect college. We believe there are many more elements that can help you do that. And we love to speak about the long-term benefits of a liberal arts and sciences education. And finally, we support the recruitment effort of our member institutions. You will find us across the country. We are 44 colleges, 42 publics, and 2 private institutions located in 25 states and having an average enrollment of about 1,500 students. Now, as we're thinking about the liberal arts, it's important to know what we're talking about. So it is not just an institution for liberal students or those that only want to study the fine arts. The liberal arts really is a learned skill that consists of studying within 4 areas: the natural sciences, the social sciences, the fine arts, and the humanities. And some of the hallmarks of a liberal arts education are smaller, engaged classrooms in which your faculty are teaching, research and internship opportunities in which you can grow and thrive and take the knowledge outside of the classroom, a core knowledge and interdisciplinary studies, and the ability to pursue multiple majors, paired majors, or even a major-minor combo. As you're starting out on your college search, you might be thinking, what are the reasons why I might want to look at some of these institutions? Are they ranked well with U.S. News and World Report, with peer institutions? And we want you to know that's not the only thing that matters in this process. What about your return on investment? That's really important. Is the school the right size for me? Can you study business and science at a liberal arts institution? But what if no one has ever heard of these schools? Does that mean it's the wrong fit for me? And the answer to all these questions is you have to find and define this as to what is right for you. As an example, when you look at the breakdown of U.S. News and World Report, you see that 22% of their evaluation is based on graduation and retention rates, totally appropriate to focus on. But is 20% a popularity contest to help determine whether a school is right for you? Are these other weights an important value for your family? Are there other things that you feel should be considered in picking the right college for yourself? So there's a tool called the Gallup-Purdue Index that we found to be an interesting source of information. This index was a survey of approximately 30,000 student alumni from across the country at all different sorts of institutions. And they wanted to know, did your college experience provide you satisfaction? And what is your well-being and satisfaction later on in life? Short answer, was college worth it to you? And the unique response that was overwhelming was that no matter where you went, big, small, public, private, selective or not selective, it was the experience you had while you were there that really drives the train. And these are the things that were highlighted within the index, that having a professor that knew your name and that engaged with you in the learning process, that you were actively involved in extracurriculars, that you held a leadership opportunity. Maybe you had a professor or a staff member that was a mentor, that you worked on an independent project, either collaboratively or with a professor. You had an internship or a job. All these attributes were elevated in the index as to what brought joy and created success. And at schools in the Colleges That Change Lives organization, these opportunities are plentiful and purposeful in the style of education that we offer. So as you continue to learn about us tonight, we hope that you'll keep some of these things in the forefront of your mind, ask the institutions questions about these opportunities, and then return to our website and learn more about the institutions. You may also use our college search function to help you find institutions that maybe you didn't have a chance to meet with tonight, but would like to engage with in the future. Thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic evening and best of luck in a successful college search.
All right, so now that you've had the chance to learn a little bit more about the Colleges That Change Lives as an organization, we'll go ahead and get started with our institutional presentations with Allegheny College.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Sloan. I am an Assistant Director of Admissions at Allegheny College, and I'm here to share some of the quick foundational pieces about Allegheny. I will share my contact information at the end as well, so if you want to follow up, because I know a few minutes per institution, you can't get quite all of the facts, I'd be happy for you to reach out to me. So to get started, this is Allegheny College. We were founded in 1815. That makes us the 32nd oldest college in the US. So there's a lot of really rich history and tradition that we're very proud of, but we're also really proud for our recognition in being a very innovative college. This screen will share some of the quick kind of by the numbers information for you. So a couple of things that you'll see there, we are a student body of about 1,800 students, and we are a 100% residential campus, which means you are guaranteed housing all 4 years while at Allegheny. What's really nice too is that we are a community that is about an average class size of 18 and 11 to 1 student to faculty ratio. And so the community is nice and small. It's very connected inside the classroom. We also have about 28% of our students that identify as first generation and also domestic students of color, just to give you an idea. Something else here that we're very proud of is that we achieved carbon neutrality. In January of 2020, we are the 8th college in the US, the first in Pennsylvania to do so. So although our colors are blue and gold, we really say they're blue, gold, and green, because even if you're not studying in environmental sciences here, sustainability is going to be a really big part of our campus culture and something that you know, every student, every faculty, every staff really embraces. So those are some of the quick facts. Also, in case you're joining us from outside of Pennsylvania, where are we located? We are located in Northwest PA in Meadville, Pennsylvania. So it's fairly equidistant between Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Buffalo. You'll see there also some of the top 10 states that our students are currently from. And what's really nice is actually over 50% of our students come from outside of Pennsylvania. So our students aren't picking up on the weekends and going home. We're not really a suitcase kind of school community, if you've heard that language before. So you're really in a really active place where students are there all the time, which is really nice. I want to spend most of our few minutes kind of talking about some of these pillars that really make up the Allegheny academic experience. And those would be your major minor combination, a focus on undergraduate research, and a focus on experiential learning. So this graphic will really help to highlight some of the departments that you can choose from for your major and minor combination. So something that is fairly unique to us is that every student must complete a major and a minor area of study before they graduate. And you pick a major and a minor from 2 different academic divisions. So that's what these circles represent. So maybe you have an interest in biology, so you are studying a major that's there in the natural sciences, but also you're really interested in global health, and that would be something that's interdivisional in nature. We also offer the ability to self-design majors and to do some pre-professional tracks like education, law, or even going to med school. And something else that I like to tell students is we are an institution that's very friendly to students that are still deciding. So if you're not exactly sure what you want to major in, you don't have to pick your major and minor combination until your sophomore year. So that first year is really about coming in, meeting with your faculty, meeting with advisors, testing the waters, and making sure you're actually going to be heading into a major that you're really interested in pursuing. I also want to talk about the emphasis on undergraduate research. So Allegheny was really proud. In 2016, we received the inaugural award from the Council on Undergraduate Research, and we continue to be recognized for the research that our students and faculty do on campus. So something that our students have been doing since about 1821 is writing original research in order to graduate. So this is affectionately known as our senior comp. So in your major as a senior, you will pick an original topic of research that you want to take on. You will propose that topic and work with a faculty member to conduct and defend your research. So whether you're going to go into graduate school, go straight out into the workforce, whatever your next step might be after Allegheny, this is a really nice piece to take with you. We do have something in our curriculum as well called the seminar series, which are your courses that you take every year that are basically your building blocks working up to your senior project. So these courses will really help you work on your research skills, writing skills, and public speaking skills so that by the time you're a senior and you go to do your project, you're very prepared and you'll have your own original piece of research. We also have about 100 or so students that will stay on campus each summer to do independent or faculty-led research. So most students will have 1 or 2 research opportunities under their belt before they even get to their senior year. It's also important in our couple minutes to talk about what our students are doing after Allegheny. So about 60% of our students will go straight into the workforce. And what's really, really nice is you'll see about 95% of those students are hired within 6 months of graduation, with many of those being before they even leave Allegheny. We send about 30% of our students straight into graduate or professional schools. We do send more than 30% of our students on, but this is right out of graduation. Something we're very proud of is that we have an 80 to 100% acceptance rate into medical and law school programs, especially the national average usually sits around 35%. We've been over 90% the past couple of years. So those are programs we're very proud of, and we'll do recommendations for any student who wants to opt into those programs. And then we will also send about 10% of our students into some sort of long-term compensated service. So this might be something, as you see on the screen, like the Peace Corps, City Year, or Teach for America. I'll also plug, if anyone is familiar with the Bonner program, we do have service scholarship programs available. It's a separate interview process for incoming students to a commitment of service in the Allegheny community over your time. So if that's something you're very service-minded, definitely reach out to me after, and we'll get you connected to figure out how to go through that process. One of the other pillars that I mentioned at the very beginning was also experiential learning. And this is about how to take what you're doing in the classroom and apply it outside of the classroom. And our emphasis on experiential learning is one of the reasons that our students are really successful after Allegheny, whether it be through research they've done, an internship that they've done, and using equipment and things that is used in the field, for example, can even be considered experiential learning. So Allegheny has some really strong placement rates because we have a really strong emphasis on our experiential nature of learning. You're not really going to sit in a classroom and be lectured to in any way, shape, or form. You're really going to have a lot of that peer seminar style discussion with your professors and your other students. So to wrap up, I do want to share, I promise, my contact information. That is my email listed there. You can feel free to reach out to me about anything that you need. And there's also a couple resources there that you might want to jot down or take a screenshot or something. We do have a couple different ways you can interact with us. The first link there, the mindovermajor.allegheny.edu, is a really cool website because it really helps to break down your year-by-year journey academically at Allegheny. There's also links where you can pair different majors and minors combinations and actually look at alumni that have done those combinations and see what they're doing now and kind of read about their stories and their journeys at Allegheny. We are open to campus visits. So seniors are eligible to come for a tour and for an individual counselor session. Anyone else is eligible for a tour. We're open most Mondays through Saturdays. And you can also schedule virtual interviews and things with us. And I definitely encourage you to check out our Go to Allegheny social media because there's a lot of student interactions and takeovers and live content and interviews that you can't really get anywhere else. And I think that's going to be it for me. So thanks for listening to Allegheny.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing a little bit more about Allegheny. Before we head over to our next institution, I do want to make a quick plug for that Q&A once again. And so if you do have any questions about Allegheny or about any of the institutions that you're about to hear from, don't forget that you can use that Q&A at any point during these presentations to ask your questions. So from here, we'll head on over to Denison University.
Sorry about that, guys. Having a couple little display issues there. All right, I think we might be good. Okay, so definitely I'm so excited that you're all here this evening. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your evening with us. I hope the weather is as beautiful where you are as it is here in Ohio. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Denison this evening. I am an alumna. I graduated in 2012, so I definitely have the student perspective as well as the professional perspective. And before I get into who Denison is, I want to tell you a little bit about where we're located. The Granville community, which is the town that Denison is located in, is especially important to the student experience. And I'm not sure where you're all coming from this evening, but it's a really big part of what you would be doing while you're at Denison to actually be interacting with the town of Granville. So it's a smaller town, only about 6,000 or 7,000 residents. But the community at Denison is really important to us. And so as a fully residential college, you have a really strong community on the hill, which is where we're located. But then around the base of the hill, you have Granville. And it's just that little extension of community, just a little bit extra in terms of your opportunity to engage with the broader world. And like I said, really big part of what students do here. You can see it's a very charming little town. You know, the pub has great burgers, and Witt's homemade custard was actually founded in Granville. So if you come to visit at all, definitely stop by and get some coupons to go visit Witt's. It's a hometown favorite, and now it's actually spread to multiple states. So we're really proud of that. But like I said, it's just a big part of the Denison student experience, being able to walk to downtown Granville, right down the hill from us, and grab some ice cream, or go to the farmer's market and have that little extension of community just down the hill from where we are. Columbus is actually the next largest sense of community that you would have at Denison. So Columbus is about a half an hour away from our campus. We're on the same side of the city as the airport, which is only about 20 minutes away. So for anyone that needs to fly into Ohio, it's a super easy drive from the airport out to our campus. And of course, we also have shuttles available as well. So we always like to say that you have the best of both worlds. you really have that small community both on the hill and then within the Granville area, but within a half an hour, you have the 14th largest city in the country right at your fingertips. And it's a huge resource for our students. Obviously, you can see we have a beautiful skyline. There's a ton to do socially here in Central Ohio. But in terms of professional opportunities as well, there are so many different organizations that have their headquarters in and around Columbus. Just between our campus and downtown alone, you have Abercrombie, there's an Amazon and Google data centers that are going up. Bob Evans is headquartered here for anyone that is familiar with that restaurant chain. Bath and Body Works is headquartered here. In downtown Columbus, or near downtown, we also have Wendy's corporations headquartered in Columbus. They were actually founded in Central Ohio. JP Morgan Chase is a really big employer for our students. They actually come to our campus and will seek out our students for internships and jobs for when they graduate. And obviously there are a ton of opportunities with hospitals, research at larger colleges and universities in the area, opportunities to work and intern at law firms. I mean, you name it, it's pretty much right at your fingertips. And with the airport so close by, not only are you easily able to get home, but you're easily able to go downtown into Columbus to experience different professional opportunities. All that being said, I don't want to give the impression that Denison is a suitcase campus. We are fully residential, and so even though Columbus is really close by and our students do utilize it for various opportunities, they love to be on campus. As an alumna myself, I can speak to the fact that the campus itself is a beautiful place to be. We really love hanging out and spending time there. And so most of the time that you are engaging with your peers and your friends socially is going to be on campus, but do know that Columbus is close by. So I think that gives a little bit of comfort for students who might be coming in from other places or who might want a little bit of the big city, as well as having their campus community. So I want to turn to who we are. Right, Denison has about 2,300 students, which for a small liberal arts school is on the larger side. Actually, you'll notice that a lot of my peers are a little bit smaller than that, and we really do feel like it's a good size. Again, you're going to hear me say this a lot, it's the best of both worlds. It's enough students where you don't feel claustrophobic, you don't feel like everyone's always in your business and everyone knows everyone. There's going to be a small sense of anonymity, but you do feel like there's a community. You do still get the same types of small class sizes and personal attention that you're really looking for in a small liberal arts college. And I can tell you, having grown up in a really rural area in Central Ohio, coming to a place like Denison was amazing for myself and my sister, who also graduated from Denison, because we were able to interact with students from all over the world and all over the United States. You'll notice that we are represented by students from all 50 states at this point in time and over 50 countries. I myself recruit in 15 states across the US. So I'm really excited to have every single state I recruit in represented on Denison's campus. So in terms of that makeup, that is one of the biggest things that students talk about in terms of the residential experience, because you're living and learning and growing for 4 years with people who may come from a similar background from you, but may also come from a very different background from you. And like I said, I grew up in a very rural part of Ohio, and being able to come to Denison and have my roommate be from DC and some of my best friends be from Chicago and California, it was really eye-opening and amazing for me. And I truly feel like it was very transformative. And Denison really provides you with that environment where you're comfortable and you feel at home. So you're more comfortable being uncomfortable and pushing yourself and allowing yourself to grow as a person, which, you know, college is as much about your educational experience as it is an incubator for you to grow into an adult. So this is a really valuable environment for students to be in. I do want to circle back to the Gallup survey that Christine mentioned in her video at the beginning of this webinar. Denison actually dived a little bit deeper into that survey to discuss mentorship and the professional relationships that you'll make with professors during your 4-year experience. So part of what that survey was also looking at were things that students reported gave them higher rates of satisfaction in their 4-year experience at college or university. And one of the things that they talked a lot about were having strong mentoring relationships with at least one professor or staff member during their 4-year experience. And so nationally, when they're talking about, did I find a mentor? Only about 22% of students reported having that strong mentoring relationship. At Denison, 92% of students reported finding a mentor. And I think that's just incredible. I mean, I can personally say that I still talk to my mentors from Denison almost 10 years after graduating. So I think, it's something we talk a lot about. It's something that we say is a part of the fabric of who we are, but you can see that the numbers really don't lie, and that students are coming out of Denison with a strong mentoring relationship after their 4 years here. That's important, not just because, it makes you happier overall with your 4 years on the Hill, but you learn so much from your mentor. Not only are you learning, different life tips and different experiences, but they'll probably be helping you with research or finding an internship or writing you letters of recommendation for your first job. So having that strong mentoring relationship can be really invaluable for students, and it's definitely something that you can see happens at Denison really frequently. I also want to make sure to talk about one of our newest buildings on campus. So being a liberal arts college, we have strengths in all of the disciplines, or all of the academic disciplines. But our Michael Eisner Center for Performing Arts is brand new. It literally opened in August of 2019, so we didn't even get a full year's use out of it with the pandemic. We're super excited for students to be able to engage in this space on campus. And I think it goes to show that we're investing in the arts, but with about a quarter or 30% of our students who are also athletes, we have a very balanced campus. So that's just a little bit about Denison. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing a little bit more about Denison. From here, we'll head on over to Juniata College.
Great, thank you so much. Can everybody see that screen?
Looks good.
Awesome. Thank you. So this is an aerial shot. My name is Molly. I'm with Juniata College. We are located in Huntington, Pennsylvania, which is kind of in the center of the state of Pennsylvania. This is a photo, an aerial shot of our campus to kind of give you a lay of the land. The Juniata community is made up of just over 1,400 students from across the country and around the world. Our students come from 30 countries and 32 states. 24% of our student body represents BIPOC or is from outside of the United States. Our student to faculty ratio is 13:1 with an average class size of 17 to 19 students. We have over 100 clubs and organizations, 21 Division III varsity sports, and 94% of our students live on campus for all 4 years. An important distinction I want to share is that we do not have Greek life on campus. Maybe the biggest thing that sets Juniata apart from other institutions is the way that we think about the academic model. So you aren't going to hear the words major and minor used at Juniata because we don't have them. Instead, we have what's called the program of emphasis system. And it is an approach that allows a student's curriculum to be flexible and personalized to them. Juniata students aren't asked to choose a major, but rather to write, with guidance from 2 faculty advisors, their own academic plan called a program of emphasis, or a POE for short. Students work with their 2 faculty advisors to identify what they're passionate about, to explore endless opportunities, including things like study abroad, internships, undergraduate mentored research. Ultimately designing an education and an academic path that aligns with their future goals and career interests. There are 3 kinds of POEs. The first is a designated, which looks very much like a major at other colleges. And still, and differently than other institutions, you still have a lot of flexibility. An example of a designated POE would be chemistry or accounting or museum studies. There's also multidisciplinary POEs, and those are for the multidimensional scholar, the student that likes a little bit of everything. And this is an opportunity for different areas of study to be combined, resulting in a distinctive set of credentials that employers are looking for and that they notice. Some examples of multidisciplinary POEs are the Integrated Media Arts program, which takes into account art, marketing, communication, and computer science. Also, peace and conflict studies, which takes into account communication, psychology, and international studies, and also environmental economics. And then the third kind of POE is a fully customized, self-designed POE, and about 30% of our students will do so. The small circles that you see on this photo show some examples of those self-designed POEs. Examples include community organization and advocacy, environmental public health, and contemporary law enforcement. Just as important as what you're learning in the classroom is what you're learning outside of the classroom and what those experiences look like. 95% of our students will engage in at least one high impact practice before they graduate. Starting as early as your first year on campus, students are able to partner with faculty members to conduct research. 80% of our students will do at least one internship before they graduate. Internships are available across the country and around the world. They can even be paired with a study abroad experience. Speaking of study abroad, half of all Juniata students will study abroad at least once. We have 59 programs in 24 countries across 6 continents. You can probably guess which continent we don't have a study abroad program on. 100% of Juniata academic programs allow students to study abroad. And a fun fact is that study abroad at Juniata actually originated in the chemistry department. Financial aid and scholarships also travel with you when you are abroad. The only difference being instead of paying your way to come to Huntington, Pennsylvania, you will be paying for your way across the country. We also offer a plethora of community engaged learning courses, which allow students to partner with local organizations and businesses to put what they're learning in the classroom into work in our community on a daily basis. Students interested in a career in education will have access to student teaching opportunities as early as their very first semester on campus. Our goal is for all of our graduates, regardless of the career direction they choose, to have the intellectual and collaborative skills needed to be both successful in their career fields, but also active contributors in their careers. In a typical year, 30 to 35% of Juniata students go directly to graduate and professional schools after graduation. In addition, 50 to 60% of other graduates indicate that they plan to do so in the future. 96% of our students graduate in 4 years, and we actually have a 4-year graduation guarantee. So as long as you are passing your courses, we guarantee that you are going to graduate in 4 years. 90% of Juniata students are employed or in graduate school within 6 months of graduation. 85% of Juniata pre-med and health professions students gain access to medical schools or professional schools, and we have a 100% acceptance rate into law school. Graduates also have national and international fellowship success, including 2 to 3 Fulbright Scholars per year, Goldwater Fellows, Newman Civic Fellows, and Gilman Scholars. The Juniata community is traditionally non-traditional. Here you'll be a part of a community that dates back to 1876, and many of our yearly traditions do as well. Storming of the Arch, that photo in the top left corner, happens every fall when first-year students attempt to charge to the iconic arch on campus. That arch is part of our oldest residential building. Waiting to defend the arch are Juniata rugby players, and as you can imagine, madness ensues. If I can give our students that are watching a piece of homework, it's to Google or search on YouTube any storming of the arch videos. I promise you will get a laugh out of them. Lobster Fest is another one of our traditions. That's the bottom left photo, as I'm sure you guessed. And Lobster Fest brings together our over 100 clubs and organizations to recruit new members, followed by an outdoor community meal where over 750 pounds of lobster is flown in. And lastly, and my personal favorite, is a day set aside in the fall semester called Mountain Day. The day is kept a secret from everyone but 3 people on campus, and students are awoken at 5 a.m. with air horns and banging pots and pans running through the halls of our residence buildings. Classes are canceled for the day, and students, faculty, and staff are bused to nearby Raystown Lake for an all-day picnic and the much anticipated faculty versus student tug-of-war game. At Juniata, we partner with students and families through the application and financial aid process. We review students holistically, considering your high school transcript, including the kinds of classes that you're choosing to take, your application essay, your recommendation letters, school and community involvement, and your test scores should you choose to send them. We are proud to have been test optional since 1998, and we are happy to review your application with or without those scores. If you do choose to apply test optional, you do not need to send in any additional materials in order for your application to be reviewed. And applying test optional does not impact your opportunities for scholarship. You can apply to Juniata College either through the Common App or the Coalition application with no fees. And if you have any questions, I encourage you to put those in the chat. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. It's great to hear a little bit more about Juniata. Before we head on over to our final institution of the session, I do want to make another quick plug for that Q&A. So if you have any questions about Allegheny, Denison, Juniata, or Ohio Wesleyan, which you're about to hear from, don't forget that you can send your questions directly to the college representative through that Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen. And so with that, we'll pass things off to Ohio Wesleyan.
Great, thanks so much. I appreciate everybody's time tonight and hanging in with us for the entirety of the program. I'm Rob Walton and Associate Director of Admission at OHWU. Ohio Wesleyan University, you will often hear our students and our staff, alums, refer to ourselves as OHWU. It's a lot easier than trying to say Ohio Wesleyan University 5 times fast. And to my knowledge, we're the only OWU out there, so we're staking a claim to it. Discover OHWU is how I like to think about it. We are also in Central Ohio, so I will do my best not to reiterate some things that you may have heard from peers, but this is an aerial footage of our campus. You're looking at the east end of campus, the academic side of campus. And if we were to take that drone and turn it around 180 degrees, you would be looking back across the Jaywalk, which is the grand thoroughfare through the middle of campus with a lot of our student life experience, and across at the residence halls on the east end. So sometimes, you know, those of us in admission, we get asked what sets you apart, what signifies you, what is different or unique about your institution. One of the things I like to point to is called the OHWU Connection. And you see that tagline, think big, go global, get real. Obviously, we're a small liberal arts institution, but we like to think big. Ohio Wesleyan created the OHWU Connection for students who really care about, you know, exploring big ideas, you know, creating a better future for both you and oftentimes the career path you're headed into. You're going to work with OHWU professors, design your own unique OHWU Connection pathway. So this is not a cookie cutter program. And it's, if you could think of it as a way to encompass all the external pieces of your college experience. So internships, travel, whether that's domestically or study abroad, research on what you care about, and you know, helping you move forward to a better future. So it's not a normal college experience. We can break that down a little bit. The Think Big component, you know, guided personalized research projects, interdisciplinary study. I think sometimes you'll talk to our students and ask them what they're studying, and it might take them a while to get through it all. You'll go global, we tell students, pack your passport. We're excited that our students have been on campus this entire academic year. I really, a shout out to our students for really doing what they need to do to keep campus both safe and healthy this year, as well as a strong sense of community at the same time. That certainly was a challenge, and our students have done a great job. So as things continue to evolve and students do more and more travel, you can prepare to do that as early as your first year on campus, nearly 70%. So over 2/3 of our students do travel through, semester abroad, travel learning classes, or university funded connection experiences anywhere in the world. And then the last piece there, the idea that get real, right? You're doing this, obviously it's going to be a fun and exciting 4-year experience, but you're gaining real world experience and valuable knowledge and skills that'll give you a pathway to go forward again in a career to grad school and be the person that you're looking to become. I love this picture of Tom Dolan, who just graduated just a few years ago from OHWU. He did our Wesleyan in Washington program. He spent a term in DC. He shadowed Senator Cory Gardner, and now just a couple of years out of college, he now works at the U.S. House of Representatives back in DC. So again, the get real component. I like to use this page. This is Eva Blockstein. She came to us from Maryland, and this is maybe just one of many types of experiences throughout the 4 years that you will be at OHWU. You notice that this line is curved and goes in different directions and loops and swoops. It's not a straight line experience. It's not always linear, but as you can see, she did travel learning classes. She studied in Costa Rica. She spent a semester across the world. She had 3 internships, one at a nature preserve right near campus, and others that were abroad, grant funded trips, everything from going domestically down south to Alabama to going even further south down to Panama. She landed actually her first job as a field technician and went completely the other direction. Now she's a field technician at the National Ecological Observatory, which is in Alaska. So we like showing this experience. And this is certainly unique to Eva, but this is not the exception. This is really the rule. This is the way that our students experience their academic life at OHWU. Delaware is what has evolved into north suburb of Columbus, and you're saying, wait, some of this sounds familiar. You did hear from our friends in the eastern suburbs. We're in the northern suburbs, and the way that I like to think of our location, OHWU's location in Delaware, Ohio, is small town charm, big city opportunities, right? So again, centrally located in Ohio, about 30 minutes northwest of Columbus's downtown, about a 5-minute walk from downtown Delaware. So the left half of your screen there, the left picture, that's Sandusky Street. That is downtown Delaware. It also bifurcates the campus. So it is less than a 5-minute walk from anywhere that you live on campus, nearly 50 restaurants and cafes, and a population around 40,000 within the community around us. So we've been there since Delaware formed. So I really appreciate that Delaware, Ohio enjoys having a college campus in their midst. I think that relationship there is strong. And again, you've heard about Columbus. It's accessible, it's vibrant, it's the 14th largest city. It is second largest in the Midwest after Chicago. So it's also a great city to live and work, and a great opportunity for STEM jobs if you're looking to go into that career. So maybe that leads me to one of my last points is most popular majors. We have over 75, but politics and government, we talked about. Columbus is the state capital. Health and human kinetics, maybe you're thinking about going on to med school, AT, OT, PT. Psychology can go a lot of different ways. Business, obviously Fortune 500 companies all in our midst. And we're just down the street from the Columbus Zoo. So zoology, a pretty unique program to have with a small liberal arts focus. And again, one of the greatest things about our campus right now, millions of dollars being put into the campus infrastructure. So we just renovated the entirety of Smith Hall, which is a first-year living experience. Our senior apartments are about to break ground, or excuse me, are about to be completed. We broke ground about a year ago. Those are going to open this fall. And Branch Rickey Arena, which is about 50 years old, just got a multi-million-dollar uplift, upgrade. So we're excited about that as well. And I think one of the things that I could say, you think, Rob, that all sounds great, but what's it going to cost? The average out-of-pocket cost for our students is, on average, $16,000. How do we do that? If you have at least a 3.6 GPA or above, you're going to qualify for the Branch Rickey Opportunity Promise. Alums love their years at OHWU. They give back to the institution. We love that connection to notable alumna, Branch Rickey. You should research him if you're not familiar. One of his biggest claims to fame is that he was the general manager of the Dodgers when they signed Jackie Robinson. So again, a great full, robust experience, STEM all the way to the fine arts and everything in between. And we're easy to stay connected. You can actually create your own custom Viewbook. I would urge you to check that out. For more, go to ohwu.edu. And if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to help. I'm the only Rob in the office. I'm not hard to find. Thank you for your time tonight, and go Bishops.
Great. Thank you so much, Rob, for sharing a little bit more about Ohio Wesleyan. And so with that, that wraps up our session for right now. And so a big thank you to all of our college representatives for taking the time to share a little bit more about each of your institutions. And a big thank you to all of you for joining to learn a little bit more as well. You will see a very quick 4-question survey appear on your screen as soon as this session ends. So if you don't mind taking the extra moment to fill that out, we really appreciate it as we continue to plan more events. A reminder that there is an additional hour of programming immediately following this session tonight, as well as some additional sessions to check out for tomorrow. So if you're interested in learning about some other institutions, feel free to sign up for those. And a note that this session was recorded and that recording will be available within the next week at strivescan.com/CTCL. So if you need to return to any of this information, that is the best way to do so. And so once again, thank you to our college representatives. Thank you to all of you for joining, and I hope that all of you have a wonderful evening.